King of Wands. Often associated with the astrological sign of Sagittarius, the King of Wands signifies wise, open, positive, adventurous masculine energy. As with all court cards, the King can indicate a literal person in your life, most often a man with hair on the lighter end of the spectrum. When the King appears, you are likely to have an abundance of energy which you are inclined to use in a positive direction. In general, the King of Wands is a positive omen. Even when he does not represent a literal individual in your life, he signifies that men around you are generally supportive and think well of you. You will be feeling ambitious and goal-oriented, and furthermore, you will have the wherewithal to accomplish what you have in mind. Think positively. Work. In the context of work, the King of Wands can indicate a man with hair on the lighter end of the spectrum who wants to serve as a mentor for you. This is a man who you can trust and can count on, although to a degree his people skills can be a bit rough around the edges. Learn what you can from him, but pay attention to the places where you wish to conduct yourself differently from the way he does things. Overall, things should be going well work-wise, and if you're looking for employment, the King is a very positive significator that a position that you'd be pleased with is likely to be forthcoming soon. Love. In terms of love, the King of Wands is an excellent omen. He signifies that someone you care about also has protective and caring feelings about you, and that they are also willing to work hard if necessary to make the relationship work. You may be more than usually focused on your own work/career now. Make time for romance, even if you are currently single, or you'll end up with work being the only thing in your life. Finances. Again, the King of Wands is a quite positive omen. You may discover a talent that you didn't know you had which could lead to more money. If you have ever thought about starting your own business, this can indicate that this is a very good time to start taking steps. Not that you should leap headlong into something if you're not in that position yet. Start where you are. Read, research, talk to others doing what you think you'd like to do. Don't hesitate to dream big, however. Boldness has power in it. Health. The King of Wands is rich with vitality. However, he also carries a warning not to overdo things or push your body further than it is able to go. Rest and recuperation is also a critical part of health. Make time to examine what you are really feeling, down deep. Anger and negative emotions can take a toll on your body. Allow yourself to feel what you feel, but let those feelings go in a positive way. Spirituality. The King of Wands is a sign that you are already well on your way with regard to spiritual exploration. However, it also warns of a slight tendency to perhaps get carried away and to try to push too far, too fast. Developing spirituality is a process, not an overnight sensation. Give yourself time and space to just be. If sitting still and meditating is difficult for you, that points to an even more urgent need to make time and efforts to do it. Start with 30 seconds, if that's all you can muster. Walking meditations can be very effective as well. Do what works. Tarot history. The history of the tarot is shrouded in mystery. Very little in the way of concrete information is known about its origin, although many things have been written about it. We will probably never know the truth, as fact and fiction seem to be irrevocably mixed nowadays. The tarot originated in northern Italy in the early 15th century, sometime between 1420 to 1440. Despite the fact that it is often attributed to originating from China, Egypt, India, or Morocco to name just a few, there is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. Nor, as is often quoted, is there any evidence whatsoever that the tarot was brought to Europe by the Romanis. The name tarot is often attributed to being Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin. This is not the case. The earliest names are all Italian in origin. The cards were originally called carte de triomphe. Around 1530 the word tarocchi began to be used to differentiate them from a new game of triumphs that was in vogue at the time. The etymology of this new word is unknown. The German variant was known as tarot and the French tarot. The symbolism for the tarot is drawn from the culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. The tarot subjects are distinctive to European Christendom. The symbolism does not come from Egypt or any of the other exotic locales often mentioned. It is often stated that modern-day playing cards evolved from the tarot. This is not the case. Modern-day playing cards came to Europe courtesy of Islam. They were an adaptation of the Islamic Mamluk cards. They appeared quite suddenly in many different European cities between 1375 and 1378. These early cards had suits of cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks, and courts consisting of a king and two male underlings. The tarot adds the Fool, the trumps, and a set of queens to this system. Sometime before 1480, the French introduced cards with the now familiar suits of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. The Joker is not original to either the early form of modern-day cards, or to the tarot, but instead originated in the USA around 1857 and was used as a wild card in poker as well as the highest trump in euchre. It is also often stated that the Catholic and Protestant churches outlawed the tarot and all who used it in an effort to stamp out so-called heretical teachings. This is not the case. The Inquisition documented what the Church considered as evidence of heresy in great detail. The tarot was not even mentioned. After the Reformation, less controversial images for the Pope and Papess were substituted by card makers as the Church had objected to the original images. It is often said that the tarot was not used as a divination tool prior to 1781. The tarot was used as early as the 16th century to compose poems describing personality characteristics. There is historical evidence that in one case at least these verses were presented as relating to the person's fate. In other words, divination. Divinatory meanings were assigned to the tarot in Bologna in the early 1700s, and this is the first unambiguous evidence of tarot divination. Ordinary playing cards were connected with divination as early as 1487. It is not unreasonable to think that the tarot was also. The tarot has often been attributed with being a pillar of Western esoterica occultism. This is certainly not the case. The first occult writers to discuss the tarot were Court de Gabellin and the Comte de Melot in 1781. The tarot was not mentioned in any occult work for the first 350 years of its existence. The terms Major Arcana, Minor Arcana, High Priestess, and Hierophant are anachronistic when referring to the older tarot decks. The historically appropriate terms are the Trumps and the Fool, the suit cards, Papess or Popess, and Pope. Likewise, Pentacles and Wands are relatively recent substitutions for the traditional suit names of coins and staves or batons. The original Italian titles of the cards were in some cases different from the later French titles that have become familiar to us through the Tarot de Marseille and its descendants. Also, the ordering of the trumps varied considerably in Italy where the cards originated. It is not known which ordering is the earliest one. Even the number of cards in the deck varied a great deal. So care should be used in making statements about the original meaning of the cards based on the familiar titles and ordering. Many believe that the Waite-Smith Tarot is the original, standard, or most authentic tarot deck in existence. This is absolutely untrue. The Waite-Smith/Rider-Waite deck was created in 1909. Not even 100 years ago, making it a relative newcomer in the almost 600-year history of the tarot. There is actually no definitive version of the tarot.